I told him he'd come crawling back within a month.
That was 4 months ago.
I'm typing this from my childhood bedroom. Chapter 1. Marcus. Marcus and I had been together for 2.5 years. He worked in IT, systems analyst, $68,000 a year. I worked in marketing, $90,000 plus commission. We lived in his apartment, good natural light, decent kitchen, quiet neighborhood. He paid the rent, the utilities, most of the groceries. I contributed around $200 a month when I remembered, which wasn't often. But that was fine. He offered to cover it. I wasn't going to argue.
You don't have to pay me back. I've got it.
Are you sure? I can Venmo you for the groceries at least.
Nicole, I've got it.
That was Marcus. Steady, reliable, always covering things without making me feel bad about it. He spent his weekends coding and cooking. Friday nights, he'd have dinner ready when I got home from drinks with the girls. Saturday mornings, he'd make pancakes while I slept in. I thought that was just who he was. I didn't think about what it cost him. Chapter 2. The Offer. Marcus came home one Tuesday with this look on his face.
I got a job offer today.
Okay, from who?
A company in Austin, senior software engineer.
Austin, Texas?
Yeah, the salary is...
Marcus, my job is here. My friends are here. We have a life here.
I know, but the salary is almost triple what I make now. I think we should at least talk about it.
There's nothing to talk about. You're not seriously considering this.
I am seriously considering it.
You'd move to Texas for a job.
For a career, there's a difference.
I laughed. Because the idea of Marcus, steady, reliable, safe Marcus, packing up and moving to Texas was genuinely funny to me.
Why is that funny?
Because you won't do it. You never do anything like this. That's not who you are. He got very quiet.
Maybe you don't know who I am as well as you think.
Marcus, come on. You'll think about it for 2 weeks and then you'll talk yourself out of it. That's what you always do. He didn't say anything else that night. I thought the conversation was over. Chapter 3. The Dinner Party. My friends came over for dinner on a Saturday. Ashley, Rachel, Sophie. All dressed up, wine in hand, ready for a good night. Marcus cooked. Salmon, homemade pasta, garlic bread. The apartment smelled incredible. I spent 2 hours getting ready while he was in the kitchen. Dinner was going perfectly. Great conversation, everyone relaxed. Rachel telling us about a $200,000 luxury car deal I was closing. Then Sophie asked Marcus about work.
Actually, I've been looking at a new opportunity. Senior engineer role in Austin. The compensation package is pretty significant.
He's thinking about moving to Texas for it. I laughed, which is obviously not happening.
Wait, you'd move? What about Nicole?
That's part of what we're figuring out.
What do you make now, if you don't mind me asking?
Currently, about 68.
Sophie laughed. Not mean exactly, just surprised.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I felt the table shift.
So Nicole makes more than you.
And that's when I made the mistake. Yeah, I make 90 plus commission, which is why the Texas thing is kind of ridiculous. I'm basically the breadwinner here. The table went quiet. Marcus put his fork down.
You don't pay rent.
Excuse me?
You haven't paid rent in a year. I cover this apartment, utilities, groceries. You contribute maybe $200 a month.
Are you seriously doing this right now? In front of my friends?
You just told our friends you're the breadwinner. In my apartment, at a dinner I cooked.
This is embarrassing and pathetic.
Is it? Because I think you're the one who's embarrassed.
You need me to be interesting. Without me, you're just some guy who sits in front of a computer all day." The words came out before I could stop them. Marcus looked at me for a long moment.
Do you actually believe that?
"I know you do."
Then leave if you want. You'll be back begging within a month when you realize how lonely Texas is without anyone who actually cares about you.
He stood up.
Start counting.
He picked up his keys and walked out. My friends sat in silence around the table. Chapter 4. The Note. I figured he'd be back by morning. He wasn't. I came home from brunch the next day and found a note on the kitchen counter. Took the job. Moving to Austin in 2 weeks. Lease is in my name. You have 30 days to find a new place. I'll cover this month's rent to give you time. After that, you're on your own. I called him 6 times. No answer. I texted, "You're throwing a tantrum over one dinner?"
Not a tantrum, a decision. You have 30 days.
"We've been together 2.5 years. You can't just kick me out."
The lease is in my name. You've never paid rent. Legally, you're not even a tenant. 30 days is generous.
I called from Ashley's phone. Blocked. I went to his office. Security called up. He said he was in a meeting. If I didn't leave, he'd file for harassment. Chapter 5. He actually left. He gave notice at his job. His coworkers threw him a goodbye lunch. He hired movers. The company found him an apartment in Austin. The day before he left, I went to the apartment while he was loading the moving truck. "Marcus, I'm sorry. I was drunk and showing off. I didn't mean any of it."
That makes it worse. It means that's what you actually think of me. You just usually have the sense not to say it out loud.
"That's not true. I was trying to impress my friends."
By telling them your boyfriend is boring and useless, and you're the only reason his life has any value.
I didn't say useless.
What do you want, Nicole?
"I want you to stay. I want to fix this."
I don't.
He picked up the last box. I grabbed his arm. "Marcus, please, just talk to me. We can work through this. I'll change. I'll pay rent. I'll do whatever you need."
You never once satisfied me. Not really. Not in the way that actually matters. I stayed because I thought that was just us. Now I think it was just you.
"That's not fair."
I want nothing from you. That's my answer.
He walked to his car and drove away. I stood in the parking lot and watched him go. Chapter 6. Austin. 4 months later, I flew to Austin. I know how it sounds. But I'd heard through Jake that Marcus was doing well. New apartment downtown, loving the job. Rock climbing gym, friends, living his best life. And I needed to see him. I found his building, modern, glass, downtown Austin, and called from the lobby. He actually answered.
Vanessa, how did you get this number?
Jake gave it to me. "Marcus, I'm downstairs. I flew here. I needed to see you." A long pause.
How did you get my address?
"Please, can I come up? Just 5 minutes."
No.
I waited in the lobby. Eventually, he came down. He looked different. Confident in a way I hadn't seen before. Like something had been lifted off him. "Nice building," I said.
What are you doing here?
I came to apologize, properly. I was drunk and insecure, and I took it out on you, and everything fell apart after you left. And I miss you, and I thought maybe
What?
maybe I could get a job here. We could start fresh. You're clearly thriving, and I think I could thrive here too, and
You think I want you to move here?
I think we were good together before I ruined it.
You told your friends I was boring, that I needed you to be interesting. That without you, I was just some guy in front of a computer. He looked at me. Was any of that untrue?
I was drunk.
Nicole, you said you'd be back begging within a month. It's been 4 months. You flew to Austin. He paused. Here you are.
That's cruel.
It's accurate. You came here because you're desperate. Your work tanked, your friends pulled back, you had to move back with your parents. And now you want back in because my life looks better than yours.
That's not why.
Is it not?
I started crying. People make mistakes. Don't I deserve a second chance?
You told me I needed you to be interesting. You told your friends you were the breadwinner. In my apartment, at a dinner I cooked, while contributing $200 a month when you remembered. You never once made me feel like an equal. Not once in 2.5 years.
I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry.
I know.
Then give me another chance.
No,
Are you seeing someone?
that's none of your business.
Did you replace me that fast?
I didn't replace you. I upgraded my entire life. You were part of the old version.
He walked toward the elevator. You'll regret this. I flew all the way here. He looked back.
Start counting.
The elevator doors closed. Chapter 7. After. I flew back that night. Cried the whole way home. 2 months later, I saw on LinkedIn that he'd been promoted to lead engineer. I sent him a message. Saw your promotion. Congrats. You were right about everything. I hope you're happy. He never responded. I'm still at my parents' place. Still rebuilding. $90,000 sounds like a lot until you're actually paying rent. Ashley and Rachel stopped inviting me out as much. Turns out, when you can't afford rooftop bars and nice restaurants, the invitations stop coming. I keep checking his social media, but I'm blocked everywhere. Through Jake, I hear he's doing well. Rock climbing, new friends, loving Austin. I think about that dinner sometimes. About what I said. About the look on his face when I said it. He wasn't wrong about the rent. He wasn't wrong about the groceries. He wasn't wrong about any of it. I just didn't think he'd actually leave. I thought he was the kind of man who'd always be there. I was right about that too. He was. Until I made sure he wasn't. That's where this story ends. Thank you for listening. If this one stayed with you, subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications. See you in the next one.